Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Horse Center. We have Slackin', joined by Jockey Courtney Gilardo, right?
Yes.
Thank you for joining us this evening. Courtney, how are you?
Good. How are you guys? Thank you for having me.
Oh, good. Thank you for coming. We appreciate it. So you grew up in a horse racing family, right? Dad was a jockey out at Suffolk Downs, which is now closed. Tell us a little bit about that growing up. Did you know right away watching Dad ride horses that someday that was going to be you too?
Yes, I knew very early on, probably around like when I was 7. I always went to Suffolk, watched my dad ride, loved to watch morning training, and I just enjoyed it. I just knew I always wanted to achieve that goal.
To ride. So when you rode your first time, was the feeling like I can't believe I'm here, or I always knew I would be here? Tell me, which one was it and why?
Kind of like a little bit of both. Like I knew I would eventually get there, but I always it's a surreal moment when you do ride. It's just so different.
I can imagine. Well, take us through like that first ride. So you're in the post parade. I read you weren't so nervous, but then you started to get a little bit of nervousness, and then you moved into the gates. And how did that feel? I read that the horse got off to a little bit of a slow start. So when the horse got off to a slow start, were you kind of like, oh, bleep, or man, I'm glad it's over?
It happens so fast that you kind of just want to you don't really think about anything. You just want to kind of focus on your race. And then again, it just happened so fast. When it was over, I was like, wow, it's over.
Yeah. It's kind of like when you wait to go on a roller coaster, right? You got to wait 3 hours in a line to go for a 90-second ride, something like that.
Yep.
I can imagine. So tell us about your memories as a little girl at the track at Suffolk. Aside from horse racing, what were some of the other like atmospheric things that attracted you to the sport?
Most likely just the atmosphere there. Like Boston, I don't know if maybe it was just a meat track. Everybody just felt like family. Like when people won, everybody would have barbecues back there. It would just be so much fun. Like everybody was just rooting for each other.
So we've read along the way that Massachusetts has a big pool of money. I know they're trying to build a track, I think it's like 15 minutes south of Boston. I forget the name. Plymouth, where the Plymouth Rockets. How can I forget that, right? It was in our history classes. So how do you think horse racing might do if it got back up into the Boston area? Was there a big fan base there, or how do you feel it might do?
I feel like the area where Suffolk was a great location. I mean, you got the train station right there. You got the airport. It was close. You got the Revere Beach. So everything was very close. And I think it did attract a huge crowd.
So now you're off in Shawn's neck of the woods. You're riding at Penn National and at Parks. Of the two tracks, well, what's the difference from your viewpoint? So when you're riding at Parks, what do you have to do differently than when you're at Penn? And what do you have to do differently when you're at Penn than you would do at Parks?
Well, definitely preparing for the race because Penn is night racing and Parks is daytime. So it's like your morning training for Penn. You can kind of have a little bit of time to relax, work out if you need to, and then go to the races. And then for Parks, after more training, you pretty much have to go right to the room. And then the track surface for both of them can be a little different at times. Parks tend to be more deeper than Penn. And so you just got to kind of prepare for that.
So night racing or day racing, which do you prefer? Why?
I kind of like both. I like day racing because I like daytime, it's nice weather, especially when it's nice weather.
Oh yes, when it's cold, forget it either way.
Yeah, night racing, no, not good in the cold. And then you kind of just after day racing, you kind of have the rest of the day to kind of just relax. But night racing can kind of be late night, so that can be hard.
What kind of style do you like? Do you like being up front? Do you like being in the back? What's your favorite?
A lot of times with bug riders, they tend to put you on speed horses, get the weight off. Again, it's I don't really have a preference. I kind of who doesn't like speed horses? You just break and hopefully just make it to the wire. But I kind of like the closers because it seems like if you can get them to finish there and it looks good, and I like it.
Now, you always knew you were going to be a jockey. What's the one thing that now that you are a jockey, what's the one thing that you didn't expect or is harder than what you thought it was?
Going in, I kind of had a really good, already an image of the sport and the business and how hard it can be, just from my father riding. So I kind of just went with it open and just very positive, taking it day by day. I'm very thankful for every opportunity and you just take it for what it is.
How long's your apprentice good for?
I have a little bit more time.
Do you have any role models besides family that got you into horse racing or that's helping you along the way now?
Just kind of like everybody. Like I'm very appreciative of both tracks. It's both got good colonies of jockeys. There's just really good riders, especially Parks. There's top riders. Penn, there's been good people that help me out. So it's just everybody just give me advice here and there. I try to listen and take it for everything.
Jeffrey Doyle asked, how do you feel about being the only female jockey at Parks?
I didn't mind it. It can be hard sometimes because you kind of want to tend to look for another female and maybe just like have her advice or, her perspective on the sport. Because everybody's different. But then again, like it is what it is. I also kind of like that it was quiet. I kind of have the whole room to myself. So wasn't too bad.
Yeah, I kind of like being in the room by myself sometimes, just a chance to unwind, right?
Exactly.
Exactly. Especially after like a moment of stress. You kind of need a few minutes to just kind of, all right, now I'm ready to go again. So speaking of getting ready to go again, so when you said as a bug, they like to put you on speed horses because of the weight break and stuff like that. But so just looking at the mounts, it looks like sometimes you get a bunch of mounts and then just a few mounts and then a bunch of mounts again. So what do you personally have to do to try to go get more mounts?
That's just like maintaining a good relationship with the trainers. You go to work every day, you try, see what you can do. It depends. Sometimes you can have a lot of mounts and they'll get claimed. It maybe goes to a new barn where they already have their set riders. Sometimes they'll honor you and ride you back. It just depends. Every day, you never know there's a new opportunity for you.
Mm-hmm. And so in the morning, do you go to the track and you ride a lot of horses in the morning? What's your typical day like?
Well, it's always different. When I was going back and forth to Parks and Penn, I was traveling to Parks for training mostly, and then just shipping to Penn for races. And then I was getting on as many horses as I can at Parks. And then now I'm kind of mostly going to Penn for training just because it's closer to home. And I was traveling for about a year, and catering to that. So wake up early in the morning, training at Penn starts at 7, and just get there and ride as many as you can until the track closes.
How do you like getting up that early in the morning every day?
You
used to it by now?
Yeah, I'm used
to
imagine.
It. So when you're driving between Parks and Penn, you said it's about an hour and a half, maybe give or take a few minutes one way or the other. What's in the I want to say iPod, but I can't say iPod anymore because I'm dating myself.
Yeah.
I don't know. What is it now? MP3? What is it?
Yeah. I don't know. I guess music. I don't know.
But I mean, I think the device is probably just connected to your phone. So
yeah.
What are you listening to? Are you listening to like audiobooks, particular kind of music? What do you do to entertain yourself? Are you just thinking about the races? What do you do?
Every day is different. Sometimes it is like just quiet. Like you don't have any music. You're just so focused. Maybe you have a lot to think about. You think about the races or thinking of your busy day. And then other times it's just music here and there, any like good like vibe music. Sometimes I do try to listen to like podcasts or something like, positive.
This one?
Yeah, definitely this one. But yeah, just anything that kind of just gets you through the drive.
I understand. So you like to hike too, right? In your off time, what do you do?
Yeah, I just like to be outside. I just like to be with family. I just like to, especially in the summertime, by Penn area, there's a lot like more outdoorsy stuff to do. You can go kayaking, hiking. It's just, I like it. I like the outdoors.
Yeah, I grew up in the Poconos, not too far.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yes, so we used to go out and with inner tubes. We 2 of us and 3 inner tubes. So there'd be 2 inner tubes and then another inner tube that had a cooler in it full of things you weren't supposed to be drinking at 17 years old. Many years ago. So I don't know how long ago that was, but we didn't get in so much trouble for that back in those days. So aside from Parks or Penn, there's a lot of other of those like Atlantic Coast type tracks around you. You got your eyes, or are there any of them in your sights for the summer or in the months or years ahead?
Last summer I went to Delaware a few times, Pimlico and Laurel a couple of times. Maybe just do that. Just depends on where your horses take you. I'm open for anything on the East Coast.
So do you spend a lot of time handicapping your races, or do you just go over it with the trainer? How do you get prepared for a race?
Yeah, I like to look at, obviously handicap your own race, but then the trainer's going to give you what they want you to do. And obviously you try to follow suit, but it's always nice to have like a plan A, plan B.
What's that feeling like when you do win a race?
Oh, it's awesome. There's no feeling that beats that.
Do you usually have a gut feeling? Or are you usually wrong? We've had a lot of jockeys that say when they think they're going to win, they don't. And when they don't think they're going to, they do.
Yeah, I try not to be like, oh, I'm going to win, because I feel like that's just like the kiss of death. But then sometimes when you look at the form, you're like, all right, how can this horse not lose, or this and that? And sometimes it's right, and other times it's not.
So last night, I don't know if you had a chance to watch our show last night, but last night we had on Ronnie Ebanks. He rapped for us. Any interest in putting together a rap for us tonight?
Oh my God, well, you got me on the spot. I can't do that. I want to hear his rap. I want to hear that first.
Have you not heard it? There's a link. I'll have Shawn send you the link to his rap. It was actually surprisingly pretty good. I was kind of, when I heard it, I was like, hey, wait, I had to rewind it. I was like, hey, wait a minute. Is that him?
And I'm surprised you did it live on live.
What did I sign up for?
Yeah. So we asked him.
I didn't tell you that part, Courtney.
You left the small details out.
She rides right now, Dominic, at Parks and Penn predominantly, and should be looking to expand. Steve Goodrich has come up here to Saratoga. I mean, how would you like to ride at Saratoga?
I mean, I feel like that's everybody's dream. I actually had the opportunity to like gallop up there for a couple years, and I love it. Saratoga is an awesome experience for anyone.
Yeah, I've never been there. We're gonna try to get out there this summer to the 4-Star Dave, right, Shawn?
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Definitely.
Absolutely, for sure. So I don't know, Shawn, you have any more questions, my man?
Well,
I'm always accused of asking too many questions.
We always hear different things. You don't have to answer this, but the workouts in the morning, do you get paid for that? I mean, I always hear different things.
No, typically jockeys don't. I mean, if they do, sometimes like that'd be great, but no, most of the time you don't. You kind of work the horses that you're gonna ride, so it pays for it at the end if they win.
Is that kind of like the process of getting to know the trainers in the barns and stuff like that? You come in, you offer to ride, and then they see how you handle. So in a sense, an audition.
Yeah. Sometimes it depends. Like sometimes, you always go to barns, check in with them. Hey, if you need any help. And then eventually they might be like, yeah, we do. And that might get you in there. Other times trainers might go to you and be like, hey, I have this horse. Maybe it will fit you. See if you get along with it. And then if you do, it kind of can. And if they see that and you get along with it and they like the way you ride for certain horses, they might find you some others. So it depends. But yeah, it's kind of like an audition.
So I know we kind of went over this again, but Laura Feldman's asking, when do you lose your bug status?
So I lose it. I have until like my 40th win. So a few more wins and then it's over.
So you got about 35 wins now, if I remember correctly.
36. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So by next week, you're going to lose it.
Yeah. If I win, you never know.
Well, that's certainly the hope, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, exactly. You always want to win.
So you go ahead. I'm sorry, Shawn.
So if it doesn't work out with horse racing, what else are you going to do?
My heart will always be with horse racing. I love it all. I took my time getting into like the jockey aspect. I learned from, I was galloping, I was an assistant, I did it all, grooming, you have to learn it all. And I just always been passionate for that. So I could see myself maybe wanting to train on my own one day.
Dominic says you should go to Laurel, home of the bugs, and then get a lot of, Laurel's closed right now, but Dominic, tomorrow at 12 o'clock, you've asked us to do a Maryland track. We're going to do Pimlico, Terry and I, tomorrow.
Yeah, sure. Maryland's very good.
Yeah, well, we got any ideas of what you might do for the Preakness? Are you looking at any particular horse there after the Kentucky Derby that you think might show up that nobody else knows about?
No, I have no idea. I mean, it's up in the air now. Obviously, you hope for Rich Strike. Never know.
That would be an interesting thing. You go from basically, and it was really, I'm not trying to put anybody down, but it was kind of an afterthought because 30 seconds before he said the Eric Reed, the trainer said 30 seconds before the deadline, he got the phone call. You in, you out.
Crazy. Yeah. I think I'll have to be a little closer to pace this time, but never know.
So much an afterthought. Rich didn't even bet him, even though he had the same name.
I know, right?
See, my name is Rich Strike. See, that's my last name.
You knew something we didn't know.
Actually, I didn't know. Shawn texted me and said, "You're in the race. Are you going to bet it?" And I was like, I was so burnt out from all the stuff we had to do. I kind of just sat around and relaxed for a couple of days. Finally had that moment in my jockey's room alone where I could relax and be like, all these races, all the stress. I'm thankful it's kind of over for sure.
Exactly.
Right. Any other questions, Shawn?
So when you do have, just one or two mounts, or you don't have any mounts, what are you just hanging out at the track? What are you doing?
Again, I kind of like to not really go to the track afterwards. It's good to kind of have like a little bit of a life after that, just so you can like get your mind off of it. You want to stay focused on horses when it's horses. and then you can de-stress and, like I said, just be with family mostly.
So I do have one other final thing. Do you have like a regular workout routine that you go through, or personal trainer? How do you make sure you stay fit so that you can handle those 1,200-pound horses, especially, when they're doing when you want them to do? It's probably pretty easy.
Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna say easy because it's never easy, but it's easier. But those moments when the horse decides it wants to do something that you don't want it to do, that's when like all that exercise comes into play, I'm sure. So is there like a typical routine you go through on a daily basis, or just kind of like when you feel like you need to get into the gym?
Kind of like when you go to the gym. I try to go to the gym regularly, even if like I don't need to really like cut weight or anything. Like some jockeys will go there to cut weight only. I like to go for a run, just loosen up and, go to the gym, tone up, do what you got to do just to keep staying fit. But when you ride like regularly, you'll kind of stay fit.
I can imagine. Like I said, I take the one. I don't think you're allowed to bet ponies, right? In your position, right?
No,
because we had that before with the one jockey. What was his name, Shawn?
Michael Sanchez. Even off like a different track, you can't bet?
No, you can't. Jockeys can't bet at all. Yeah.
So Laura wants to know, do you have any personal I know this is probably a loaded question, so you have to probably answer all of them, but aside from all of them, any personal favorites?
Just make sure you say Tyler Connor.
Tyler Connor is a friend of the show.
Tyler would have to be my favorite. He's a class act for sure. He's very just a very classy person. He'll help you out if you need it and just does his job. He's a great rider, good person.
We have another question from Jordan Park. Says, first-time starters seem to have trouble breaking from the gate, especially from the rail. What tactics do you use to get them to break better?
That's a good question because that can be very hard, especially first-time starters. Just hopefully you got to start a horse. Like if it is a first-time starter, hopefully you've been like going to the gate in the mornings and doing the schooling so you kind of can know it. Race time's so different. I just hopefully they're standing good. That's one thing. If your horse is standing good in the gate, hopefully that they can break good. But you never know, first time starters.
So a lot of jockeys we've talked to say they talk to the horses. Are you a horse talker too?
It depends. I mean, sometimes you have to talk to them, but other times just making sure that you stay calm because they're definitely going to feel you.
Sorry, Shawn, again, I interrupted you.
Yeah, it's okay.
That's what I do.
on race nights, if you do have a mount, say race one or even how early do you get to the track?
You have to be there like an hour out of that post time, like the latest you can be. But I try to be like maybe a little bit later than that too, like maybe like almost 2 hours out, just so you kind of like relax, chill. Especially if you're traveling to other tracks, you want to get there, make sure you have plenty of time.
This anything Shawn is not as poor because we take care of Shawn around here. No question about it. He's the producer. He might be short on money, but he's certainly not short on love. Ain't that right, Shawn?
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure. Well, we appreciate your time. Shawn, you have any more questions?
No, I think that's it. It'll be fun to watch your career, and hopefully even when you lose the apprentice, it takes off.
Thank you guys so much.
It'll be the hard work in an opportunity those crossroads make for success. So I'm sure you're working hard, and then that hopefully those opportunities, those doors will open, and we'll see you riding all over the place, and that bug will be gone like that.
Yep. Thank you guys.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
All right, you too.
Bye-bye. All right, Shawn. So looks like it's just you and me right now, kid.
Okay.
And then so I did send out a email, but I haven't heard back from the Lone Star Clocker. So we do have some news that we can talk about in the meantime, if you don't mind.
Yeah, let's go.
So let's talk a little bit about the Preakness that's coming up. It looks like Zandon is when you see a headline like this, it says Preakness is questionable for Zandon. Travers is the goal, Shawn. So when I see a headline like that, you might as well just say no.
Yeah, he's not going. He's not going, but Epicenter's going for sure. And Secret Oath seems to be going. So I think this is going to be a good race. I mean, Secret Oath is going to be a good story. Epicenter ran a hell of a race in the Derby. So he's going to be the favorite. And then you got the story of Rich Strike. So you at least have three right there. And either one of those three win, it'll be a good story. I mean, Epicenter wins and say Rich Strike gets second. Hopefully they both can go to the Belmont, and then you have the final round, so to speak.
That's good news. There's some more good news, Shawn. You want to know what that good news is?
What's that?
Drug samples are clear in the Kentucky Derby and Kentucky Oaks. So we will not have a repeat, thankfully.
That would have been disastrous. That would have been disastrous.
Mm-hmm. But I did say last year something looked funny. And then the other day I said, hey, it looked perfectly normal, like a perfectly normal horse race to me. So I must have that innate eye. I can see something's wrong for sure. So, this is kind of cool. I was reading about this, Shawn, and let's see if I can find the right page here, my friend, before I move on. Where is it at? All right, here we go. So this is in the Pollock report. I was looking for the wrong one. So the Thoroughbred Industry Employee Award. So a lot of people that we talk to, right, always say the folks at the backside need recognition, and there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. So if you're at a track and there's somebody that works there that you feel like needs some recognition, if you go to Pollock Report, you will see this article. I'll link to it as well in the recap at horseracingtoday.net of tonight's show. So make sure you check that out. But at the very bottom, there is a link for www.tiea.org. And that'll take you to this page right here. And it says nominate here. That's really not the right button to press. If you come over to here to award categories, you can click on this award categories, and then you click on one of the links here, and this is where you actually do the nominating. So you'll see, of course, my computer's not working. It's making a liar out of me, Shawn, but that's what you click on, because I looked at that before. Or finalists. I'm sorry, you click on finalist, and then you click to nominate. So if there's somebody you feel like that should be nominated, then go ahead and head on over to tiea.org and nominate somebody that on the track that you feel is deserving of one of these awards. And I think there's like $122,000 at stake. So there's real money in there for somebody.
Are we talking like grooms and stuff?
You have to look through all the different things in here, but they have leadership award, dedicated to racing award.
Okay.
I mean, there's all newcomer awards, support service. So there's awards for everything. So if you read through the awards, you might find some that you like in there. You might even find some for a clocker at Lone Star Park. Erica Star, how are you today?
Hello, I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Doing good. So how are things in the Lone Star State?
It's hot over here. It's the heat. I think we're done with the rain for a while, so it's just been pretty dry out here. But everything's going well. Workouts are great. We've had a couple good workouts this week, actually. A couple Calhoun babies. I'm going to address. I did have Ed DeRosa. He's on Twitter. He actually was looking for a horse. Ruby Soho was the name, and the location was unknown, but found the location over here at Lone Star Park. We have Ruby Soho. She's a 2-year-old for Brett Calhoun, and actually worked out this week with Shawn, which is another 2-year-old that Brett Calhoun has in his stable. And they work in company. So those two have been trained together since they've been at Lone Star Park. I've seen 3 workouts so far, and we'll just say the filly's a little bit better than the gelding, than the colt. So those are actually 2 babies to look for here, going to be running at Lone Star Park. So I'm a little excited for those 2 to see what they have in store for the Calhoun stable. Mm-hmm. So those are a couple of good ones this week. But we also have there's a lot of a lot of maiden special weights this weekend we have going on. And
any horses that you've seen trained that stand out for these special weight races?
Yeah, no, I'm actually pretty excited for that. Sunday's actually race 9 is a maiden special weight, and that one is actually it's gonna be pretty competitive. There's a couple in there. We have a couple of babies for Pish. Pish has been working a lot of babies this beginning of the month here, and one I'm looking forward to actually seeing compete is I'm a Cowboy out of Braidster. Mm-hmm. And the workouts have been extremely fast, 3 furlongs going 35-13, couple of other fast ones, but we also have another contender, Caldwell has Let's Tie One On is another one, and Leslie's on that, and when Leslie and Caldwell combine, they tend to hit it out of the water.
Then afterwards they have another one.
Yeah, no, for sure. So if he, definitely got to keep Caldwell, on your pick 3, keep him up there because he definitely hits the board. you know, like I said, Leslie's with him, and when they combine, like I said, you want to definitely add them to your, you know, lineup for when you're handicapping. So again, those are a couple to look for this weekend. Gustafson also too has one in that same race, which I do like. Farm Dog is the other one that has been working extremely well. Again, working 35s, 36. So it's going to be pretty competitive, but I look forward to that race. Like I said, a lot of baby races this weekend. So those are a couple, the few that I like that stood out. And one more that actually stood out that actually isn't, it's an allowance race this Friday. Race 5, we have Bedouin Fighter for Steve Asmussen. That horse actually broke the record for 5 furlongs on turf at Sam Houston on March 26th this year. And so 55, going 55 and 96. So he's actually going to be running this weekend in an allowance race. And again, Caldwell's in that race. Going to be teaming up, I believe, with Leslie in that one as well. So again, Caldwell and Asmussen, I think probably the two you're going to be looking at this weekend.
Ice cold in the smoking hot Lone Star State. Ice cold exacta, right?
Yes, no, for sure. I think so. I hope so. You know, I could be wrong, but like I said, based on their workouts,
Never.
See what's in the store.
How's the track playing right now?
It's a little, I want to say the turf is a little dry right now. They did you know, put some moisture out there, but so it's a little dry, not too much speed, but the dirt's looking good. Like I said, the last couple weeks when it was raining, it kind of allowed that inside to be a little fast. So let's say like the 2 lanes a little fast this week. So if you're looking for speed races, I'd say, you know, the 1-2 spot this week, you know, we're looking good for on the dirt. So
did you see anything as a shot caller, as you want to be called? Did you see anything last week in your chart calling duties where you say, I'm going to add that horse? Maybe you had like a bad trip or something like that, where you saw, well, that horse had a pretty rough trip, pretty bad go of it. Next time out, this one is one I want to keep an eye on.
Silver Luke Silver actually is one you want to keep an eye out. Ran second, I believe. The last 16th furlong, it was had to steady a little bit, had to check a little bit. Horse kind of drifted out, kind of bumped a little bit. And I think if he had it, you know, had to change his path, then he definitely probably would have won that race. So next time is Silver Luke Silver is one you have to look for next time, because I definitely think he'll win.
He'll bring home the trophy next time around, provided somebody's not getting in his way in the lane.
Exactly. But you never know. Like you say, it's horse racing. So have to know where to, you know, steer your horse. Obviously, Sonny Leone did. So, you know, so again, exciting racing this week. Very exciting. And I don't know if you all seen Go Pilot did end up winning that race against Sheriff Brown. So, you know, he ended up getting there in the front at the end there. So
nice.
Yeah.
Are there any jockeys, trainers that are kind of off the radar that's been performing pretty well?
Off the radar. Let's see. I'd have to say Rachel Keithan. Rachel Keithan is actually, I haven't heard of her. She's here at Lone Star Park for the first year, and she has few horses here. But based on her workouts, she's been looking pretty good. Like I said, a few horses. She has Are Captivating as one that's looking pretty good here at the workouts. And again, I'm not familiar with who she is. I want to say she's run down in maybe New Mexico. Could be some I guess she maybe in collaboration with Todd Fincher. And again, he's, you know, from down in New Mexico and, you know, that area. So again, she's somebody that I think is definitely going to be a contender when it comes to these, you know, races. And you see her name out there, throw her in there too. Throw her on your ticket.
Any other pearls of wisdom that we want from the Big Hat State?
Paul Duhan is another one. You know, he's another one to look for. Like I say, he's small, quality trainer. He has about not too many horses here, but again, he's that long shot you want to look for. Paul Duhan. I've expressed him before in the past. You'll see, you know, throw him on my Twitter because he, again, small trainer, not well known, but again, quality, you know, and I love how he works. I love how he treats his horse. Great horsemanship. But he's somebody that definitely, maybe I can get him, you know, to speak with you guys one day, you know, have an interview, but he's definitely a quality trainer that should be known here at the Lone Star State. So
fantastic. So between Wednesdays, if folks want to keep up with Erica, the rising star, how do they do that?
Well, I probably should post more on my Twitter, but I
should,
recently,
like me. I mean, I'm posting all of the time.
Yeah.
I don't think I put anything out for like 10 days. I'm sorry. I've been busy. I sit down and say, I want to do some stuff today. And then before I know it, I'm like, beep, I got to get ready for the show with Shawn. But anyway, go ahead.
oh no, definitely understandable. I agree. You know, we definitely want to post more about horse racing, but no, I will definitely be posting more. I did recently change it to Erica Star, so it's just Erica Star 2_. So you can go ahead and I'll be adding a lot more here. The season's, you know, taking off, and you know, we have these workers, so you can find me there. I'm on Instagram, but I don't really post more. I post more on Twitter about horse racing than my Instagram, but again, Twitter is where it is for me. So you can find
At
me.
Erica __star.
Yes.
All your Lone Star news and more. So we're working on some other stuff. Erica knows other folks in her business, and we'll see if we can bring more clockers in and get some more reports from more tracks, because we want to make sure we provide everybody the most insights so that you can find I'm a cowboy and ride that one home.
There you go.
Fantastic. Thank you, Erica, for joining us again. Get out of the heat and have a great night.
You too, guys. Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Bye.
That's some good information. Always, Shawn, right? I always like to get good information.
Yeah,
I'm a
absolutely.
cowboy, Caldwell. Can't read my handwriting on the other one. Farm dog. Can't read my handwriting on the other one either. I got to become.
That's always great. You know, you cram stuff in there and you go, oh, I'll get to that later. And then you try to find it and you can't find it.
Well, it's not a matter of finding it. It's right in front of me. I just can't read it. And I just
well,
wrote it
that
down.
happens too.
Yeah, I have horrible handwriting. I
Yeah,
should
so
have
do
been
I.
a doctor, right?
Yep.
I actually read this, and I'm not making this up. They said the worse your handwriting is, the smarter you are. Did you know that?
Well, then you're not disagree. My handwriting's horrible. So there you go. You
Yeah,
probably
no,
really
I guess
smart.
we proved that's not true. Just like that. That thesis goes out the
I
window.
knew I could change your theory on that.
That's finally you got me. Hey, come on. Yesterday you had to be like, damn it, when he said it's at most 15%.
Well, you know, I think jockeys are very naive with that. They don't want to take the credit. They don't
I
want to
see.
take the credit.
But he's not in the game anymore, so he has no reason not to take the credit.
Well, you know.
All right. So one final thing before we get up and get out of here, as was mentioned earlier in the day for Dominic of Fama. Dominique of Fama. Maybe I got that wrong. Tomorrow is the opening day at Pimlico, so it kicks off the Preakness meet. Terry and I will take our craft to the Maryland track to see if we can find some winners on opening day. That'll start at 12 o'clock Eastern right here on Horse Racing Radar TV. If you like what you saw today, as Beverly Taylor did, thank you, Beverly, Stephen Goodrich, Kathy Wood, Jeffrey Doyle, Mike Watkins, and Lionel Tiamfouk, thank you for the thumbs up on Facebook. We appreciate it. If you like it like they did, please go ahead and give us a thumbs up on Facebook. Follow us. You can see on our social sites down there at Horse Race, the number 2 day, Horse Race today. And then also while you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell. And again, if you can give us a thumbs up so our ratios are positive, we're at 98% thumbs up. So we appreciate that as well.
And tomorrow's going to be a busy day for us and a real busy day for Rich.
Yes, I'm getting my legs ready for the Rich Strike's return to the track. Maybe this time, you don't want me to. You know what? Okay, let me let out a dirty secret here, Shawn. You want to a dirty secret?
Oh boy.
So when we do the shows, right? When I bet, I'm like the kiss of death to my pick fours and stuff like that. And when I don't bet, they all win. It's just like,
that's of course.
Is that common?
Yeah, that's definitely common. Well, that's what gets us. Is it's one of those, if you don't bet it, it's definitely going to win, and then you're going to sit there and watch it win, and you didn't bet it, so you just feel like you got to bet it because you don't want to miss the opportunity.
Well, I try to do everybody a favor. I try to bet on as few of them as possible so that everybody's got a chance to win. But what I bet was funny because I sent you a text on the weekend. I'm like, oh man, of course I hit like 4 pick fours, and finally I go to bet one and it gets beat in the last leg.
And I never know.
5. On that Philly 5, I bet it, and I got the first 4 legs right, and then on the 5th one I got it wrong, and they all were nice payouts, and I was just like, you got to be kidding me.
I never know, and I know you say when you put it out in the public you want it to hit. Absolutely.
Oh,
but there is that gut wrench feeling too when you don't play it, that wow, I could have hit that and actually cashed in too.
When you put your name on it in the public domain,
oh
I
yeah,
mean, yeah, it's like you play it just as well, for sure, 100%
Yeah.
for sure. So I do everybody a favor. I don't bet them as frequently as I would like to because I want other people to win too. It's pretty horrible, but true. Why is that? You like to? I gotta think about the conversation we had with Ronnie last night and not speak that into the universe. Let me bring that back. Every time I bet it, it always wins.
And you know what's funny is you always say about speaking to the universe, and he said that exact same thing yesterday. So,
well, it's common. It's common language for that sort of thinking. All right, Shawn, you got your tissues out, my man? Oh no, you don't need them because tomorrow we're going to be 2 shows tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Right. So what's the first one?
The first one, 8:30. We will have Kentucky Derby winning jockey Sonny Leone on at 8:30. And it's confirmed and everything. I got his phone number, everything. We will not let you down.
Sure.
Confirmed with him today again. I will confirm with him tomorrow morning again. So we'll have him here.
All right, so 8:30 Eastern, we'll have Kentucky Derby winning jockey Sonny Leone on. If you got a question for Sonny, and I know a lot of people do, make sure you're here. Hit us up in the comment section on YouTube or Facebook. Again, the best way to make sure you don't miss it is to subscribe to our social sites or on the YouTube channel and hit that bell. So when we go live, you're notified. Shawn will keep you up to speed. And of course, all sorts of other things that he'll keep you informed in over on the social media sites. And then afterwards, we're going to get together to talk about some stakes races at Belmont Park. We're not quite sure who our guest there is, or do we know who our guest is?
I've been striking out, but I will figure out somebody to bring on.
Guys, biggest disappointment on the Derby. Marco, I got to say, the biggest disappointment is not betting my own name.
So my top pick, obviously, White Up Area for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a horrible trip and didn't run.
You don't have to be afraid to ask a question anytime, William. Everybody we've ever had here, every now and then we get some real goofy comments in the comment section, but I jump over some of the, and we don't get, they're rare. So, but if we get like a rare one in there, I'd skip over it. But if you have a question, never feel afraid to ask it, man. That's what we're here for. It's a community. If you want to join, we can send you a link and you can be on the screen with us.
And I will say tomorrow, we try to get to as many questions as we can. I figure tomorrow is going to be a lot of questions. He does have other commitments, so we'll have a 25-minute show. So if you want your questions answered, get them in early, and we'll take care of that.
Yeah, we'll get it. We'll make sure we get them in. And then, of course, we'll do that. And then Friday, Tom and I will be back at 1 o'clock Eastern to go over Newmarket. So for the 4 and Friday horse racing for the weekend. So when you wake up Saturday morning with your tea and your English racing, Tom and I will have you covered for there. Terry and I will clean up some of the Belmont races, the Santa Anita race, and I think there's another stakes race elsewhere. So we'll clean that up. And then, of course, we'll have a Sunday off and we'll be back Monday, Shawn. Just never-ending circle.
Yeah, next week's guest, jockey Andrew Wolfson on Monday, trainer Aaron West on Tuesday, and jockey Brianna Cup on Wednesday.
This time I'm going to bet him I'm going to tell Sonny I'm sorry tomorrow. Right? I'm going to start the show with I'm sorry. I'm betting on you this weekend. Last weekend I didn't.
$5 isn't going to go as far as it would have.
No, not at all.
You know what though? He probably will be the third choice. He'll probably
coming off the Derby, everybody's going to be on that horse. Not everybody, but a lot of the fans are.
Yeah, right? But I think Epicenter will be the favorite. Secret Oath might be the second, and then probably Rich Strike as the third.
Good night, William.
Rich Strike second and Secret Oath third. But
I think there'll still be skeptics, Shawn, for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
And will he get the pace to run into you? You have early voting that has some pace, and you have Epicenter, obviously. So you have 2 horses at least. But nobody thought he would get the pace in the Kentucky Derby, neither, and he did.
And I forgot who we spoke to though. Who was riding at Laurel, so that's different than Pimlico. So we'll see what the track bias looks like tomorrow when we're doing the show with Terry and when we're watching our picks. So make sure you tune in for that at noon. Shawn, any final thoughts before we get out of here? Wednesday, and we have a special Thursday edition of Horse Center. Then you'll have your tissues out.
Yes, I will. No, I'm looking forward to tomorrow with Sonny Leone. It's amazing, and we've talked about this, but how they've hit the top here, and it's great to see, but there's still people trying to bring them down, Sonny Leone being suspended from other rides and stuff. Look, all successful jockeys are very aggressive jockeys. That's how they are successful, so.
All sports, the aggressor wins. It's not just horse racing.
And I've also heard, he just sat on the horse. Watch that race and tell me he just sat on that horse. There's no way. He outsmarted a lot. He outsmarted 19 other of the best jockeys in the world. They all could have taken the same path, and they decided to go to the outside. So
I'm just reminded of what Chantel told us and what we spoke about with Emma Jane Watson, because she was the one who brought the Emma Jane Wilson. I don't know why I keep saying Watson. Emma Jane Wilson. And that was lions don't concern themselves with the opinions of sheep. End of story, right? You're the Kentucky Derby winning jockey. Nobody could take that away from you. Why even listen to what the detractors have to say?
Yeah, and he's probably not. I just,
like the other 19 horses, there's my backside. All right, Shawn, that wraps it up. Takes us wire to wire on this Wednesday. We'll be back again tomorrow with Sonny. Until then, and to do our pinnacle picks. Until then, we hope your Wednesday night and your Thursday, until we get back together again, all of that stuff ends up in our good friend Jay Marco's
winner circle.
Absolutely. Have a great night, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.